Good morning. It's a Thursday. We've got some weather to talk about. We've got snow on the Eagles, as you might guess. A couple inches of snow last night. Lake Tahoe came in at right at about 2 feet. Down in the valley, down around the Olympic Valley, they were about 22 inches. But at the top of Palisades, they were up around 24, 25 inches of snow. And it's still snowing. It's going to snow throughout the day on and off. Winter storm warning along the west slope of Sierra Nevada. We'll look at that. Surf along the coast. Eagle weather. Wow, it's fascinating. Watch. I woke up this morning before the sun came up and was checking her out. And this is Jackie. You can tell by the flat head. Whereas Shadow, the male, has more of a rounded head. Kind of comes up in a dome like that. Not pointy, but a dome. So she gets up about every 10 minutes and shakes it off. So this morning, it was just white. You couldn't see anything. So maybe 3 inches of snow up there on the Eagles and some strong wind gusts. Let's go to the rain real quick. So, it's reloading good. Okay, so we'll go up to the zone around the birds, kind of up in here, Big Bear Lake. So, 0.20, 0.30, light amounts of rain, which would equate to maybe 2 or 3 inches of snow. But you can see, look at the orographic effect. We talked about orographics the other day, right? Or uplift, slope lift. You can see that much more rain on the west slope of the hills. And you'll notice that all the way through Southern California. As a matter of fact, if I pull out, you can see like the hills up about east of Huntington Beach and San Diego. You can see the rainfall accumulations up a couple inch. So the blues, generally over a half inch. Greens, under a half inch. Blue over a half, green under. And the other numbers represent more rain, as you would guess. But you can see lots of blues. And then we're going to get towards the hills up here in, near Mount Wilson, and you're coming in at almost 3 inches. That's orographic effect because of the southerly winds. And that's the nature of California. That's why, the topography. Look at this, and down in Ventura and Santa Barbara, unloaded in this zone. Santa Barbara up in the hill up by Gibraltar there, up over 3 inches of rain. This is, again, last 24 hours. And then as you go further north, Big Sur, as you would expect, some rain here, but most of the heaviest dynamics were further south. So you go into Big Sur, and you're around a half inch, over an inch in, where are you, Big Sur right here? Yeah, you're over an inch in those hills. Those hills are the first thing the moisture hits, orographic lift, and rain shadow out here by Soledad with less than a half of an inch. So almost 4 times the amount of rain on the hills than on the lee side, rain shadow effect. So we'll back out. That's Monterey Bay. We go to San Francisco. Greens and blues. Blues over an inch, or over a half inch. Green under a half inch. So pretty uniform. And then lo and behold, you go further north where you expect most of the rain, like that Mount Tam watershed, right? That place is known for unloading the rain. And it kind of did, over an inch and a quarter, inch and a half. But not like you would expect. So this storm really favored, see the reds, really favored the southlands, south of Santa Barbara. The temperature, we'll take a look at the temperature of the birds. The birds right now are the Eagles. Let's take this site, a 26-degree temperature right now. Winds are relatively light, gusts up to 13 miles an hour. Remember, temperature and wind. So you can see temperature 23, wind gusting to 15. Winds are still southerly. And how do you know that? You look at these wind barbs. If you're a pilot, you know what these mean. I'll put it in here. Let's see if I can do this. So here's the arrow, right? That's the arrow. That's the way the wind blows. That tail represents 5 knots. This bigger tail represents 10 knots. I know, right? So, you can also just read the number for the gusts, 19 mile an hour gusts there. Okay, so here is California. Here is that system going through. The main band has moved through, but now look what happens. This cold air, see it filling in? Open-celled cumulus, those big, that I just think of them as ice cubes. It represents cooler air, cold air coming in behind the cold front, because the cold air is behind the cold front. It represents the cold air moving over essentially relatively warmer ocean waters, which says a lot because waters aren't that warm, but that's how cold the air is, that you get warmth, infrared energy leaving evaporating, leaving the water and radiating into this cooler environment, creating towering cumulus in many cases. And so we know what that can mean. That can mean thunderstorms. And we had some activity yesterday, hail in parts of the Bay Area and parts around the state. That's a real possibility today. Today's the kind of day you could see some pretty significant thunderstorms. So we'll keep an eye on that. We can play this. This is up at kind of by Eureka, a place called Neeland, and got some snow. And you see some clearing. This is about half hour ago. So the front has moved through, and you kind of pick it out in these pictures. This is Mount Tamalpais, and that's Ocean Beach. And then you see a few clouds. You're up over 2,300 feet here. And that's the front sliding through. The little bit of water squeezing out from the dynamics, not necessarily there, but the moist air is there, and that's what squeezes out. So that, again, is an example of orographic lift. I was going to get into the redwood trees. We'll do that another time. And that's because there's a lot of redwood trees over here. Mount Tam, we just took that shot, which was right here. That's Mount Tam. And we talked about yesterday, the orographic lifting. But Muir Woods, one of the most famous redwood parks, if it's a national park, in this area here up in Muir Woods, is in this zone where it gets a ton of moisture, a ton of orographic lift, and a ton of water, not just in the winter from the rain, like we just saw last storm, but in the summer when the fog comes in. The fog piles up and gets pressed in there and gets pushed up and gets kind of just extremely moist in that area, and then the needles on the redwood have the ability to kind of become something to form on, for water to form on easily. And the rainfall created by tree drip in the summer is significant. I don't know an exact number, but it's a number of inches a year, and that's how they survive in the wet or the dry summer months of the Bay Area, through the fog drip, the redwoods. Okay, that's why Muir Woods is there. So that's, this is Golden Gate Bridge. Oh, that's such a pretty shot. Richmond District, Sunset District, Golden Gate Park. If you're not familiar with San Francisco's Bay Area, that's what it looks like. That part of the beach, or that part of the area. This is the national map. These are the watches and warnings for today. A lot going on. And you can see our storm it's coming like this, and it's kind of tracking. Remember, it's mostly tracking south. See how Montana's got no warnings, Idaho, not a lot going on. So this has more of a southerly route to it, and that's going to create winter storm warnings out in Colorado, parts of Utah. The blues are winter weather advisories, and again, the browns are wind. So that whole complex, this whole area, you go, okay, this is where the storm is going to impact, that southern third. What else can I tell you? That's about it there. This is the national map, again, showing you that storm path. Again, moving a little further south, like look at Seattle today. They're on the north end. They got a little sprinkle activity, but not much. Maybe they got a little, they got a little warm front activity there. But the main dynamics are down here where we are. This next system comes in on Friday, today is Thursday. This next system does come in on Friday, but it comes, you'll see, I'll show you it in the model, but it's not as strong, but it's still going to bring some rain, and probably, I wouldn't be surprised to see a winter storm warning for the mountains. These are the forecast highs for today. Look at this, Kansas City, 81 degrees, 84 in Oklahoma. You know what that is? Remember that system we talked about that was coming out here? Jet streams going like this? Well, you're getting this big ridge here. That ridge pops up, and under this ridge is the warmer air. The warmer air is pumping up, and that's why you're seeing 87 in Houston today. And on the other side, this trough, that's where the cold air resides. So when I draw this is the jet stream, let's say, cold air up here, hot air down here. And so anytime you're under a ridge of high pressure, you're going to see temperatures like these. So I think it's a great example of this system as it goes through, and it's sort of the nature of it, the cooler air. Billings 64, that's going to change once the cold air gets there. And Los Angeles today, just 56 degrees. So that system, this system, there's Bay Area, here's Southern California. This system is going to translate through. This is this morning right now. And then you see it you can kind of see where the front is. In San Diego, you're still getting some scattered showers, maybe a thunder shower this afternoon. This is the GFS, sea level pressure and rain. And then this is to this afternoon. So mountains keep going. Mammoth, you keep snowing all day. Tahoe, you get another 6 to 8 inches of snow. We get a little bit of a break this afternoon and this evening. And then by tomorrow morning, there you are, you're back into it. This has more of a northern trajectory to it. That's hard to say in the morning, northern trajectory. But you can see, so this is Friday morning. And then it moves through very similarly. A little bit of energy to the south, but more energy to the north than we've seen. And then now we're looking at Saturday. A tweak goes by on Saturday night, Sunday, up in Crescent City. So my friends up in Point Arena, you're getting a little bit wet. Sunday morning, you're getting a little bit wet in Fort Bragg. And then by Sunday afternoon, Monday morning, or Monday evening into Monday morning, you get another system. Okay, so right now this looks like this thing. This is the NAM, North American model. And this is a more of a rapid update kind of a deal, a little more granular. So we're going to go through it again. This is this afternoon. And you see how it's more defined, the rain packet. So it's trying to be more... it's just trying to be more, it's the same idea. A lot of the inputs are the same. The calculations are a little different. There's different parameters to go into these models. This one is more granular, probably has more calculations to work through. And you can see it pushing through. This is this morning. This is this afternoon. This is this afternoon, late afternoon. And then there's late afternoon. You see Tahoe clear out, and then you see your break. Then you see Friday, it starts to rain again for most of us, which is in good agreement with the GFS, that it starts to rain for most of us around 15Z. So if I go back here, yeah, interesting. Okay, so that was the GFS. So around, well, what do I mean 15Z? I mean like Friday, let's say mid-morning, early morning, and then it clears out. Okay, so Friday looks wet. So we're not going to get too wrapped up in this particulars. All we need to know is what's going to happen. Today, scattered showers continue. Snow in the mountains all day into this evening. A break for most of us, that's Santa Barbara, San Diego, Fort Bragg, all of us, until tomorrow morning early when the next storm rolls in and brings us another wet day. Friday's going to be a wet day. These are the rainfall accumulations for the next 4 days or so. And you can see, 2 to 3 inches in Redding, in the North Valley, 3 to 4 inches in Eureka. Again, 1.5 inches in Marin County, 0.5 inch to 1 inch in the hills above Santa Barbara, San Mateo. And then Los Angeles, 0.5 inch to 1 inch, 0.5 inch to 1.5 inches in San Diego. So San Diego, you guys are making up the rain totals pretty quickly. But again, when I look at this map, what do I think? I think, well, what the heck? This isn't rain we can't handle, right? So if you get a lot of, another storm threatening, right, I get it. LA had a huge fire. There's definitely concerns in those burn zones. And there'll be problems because LA doesn't drain. But in terms of biblical flooding or issues, right now, not seeing it. So just, it's just the nature of it. Okay, so this is, this is Echo Donner Summit. Yeah, buddy. Look at that. It's snowing up there right now. This as of about 9:30 this morning. Doesn't look like they're chaining. They're probably chaining up. I could check, but it doesn't. They're going to be chaining up on and off all day. On and off all day. This is Echo Summit. We'll come back out of here and then we'll go to, no, that was Donner Summit. Dang. This is Echo Summit. And this is kind of by the Echo Lakes turnoff here. And that road looks pretty sketchy for sure. 50's a drag. Sometimes in the snow, 50's the one there, 80's to the north, 50's to the south. And especially because this system is centered more on the south. 50 is one of those roads that I avoid at all costs during the winter. I know, I'm kind of a baby, but it's number one, it's 2 lanes. That doesn't give you any room for error. This is Palisades, Tahoe. You can see it's snowing pretty good. Looks like a pretty blustery day up on the hill. Looking for wind in the trees. Not too bad. A little bit of wind, but not much. Okay, North Star. I was checking this out earlier. There it is. It's snowing now. For a while, North Star had a little bit of clearing, but it's going to kind of be like this on and off all day. I'll bet they get another half foot of snow up there in the mountains. Ooh. But good ski day. Again, not one. I really never really liked skiing. I know you're supposed to love skiing in this fresh snow. I like a summer day. I like a spring day, spring skiing. I really do. I know this snow's better. Okay, so let's see if I can get this to play. I did this yesterday too. Let's try that. I'm gonna play. Oh, there it goes. Okay, this is Ocean Beach. Soil's about 6 to 8. Probably gonna hover there for the next couple of days. It's Victory at Sea, which the surfers, I don't know if they say that anymore. But in the old days, we used to call it. We go, how's the surf? Oh, it's Victory at Sea, and Victory at Sea was, I think this probably comes from the surfers in the 40s and 50s. But Victory at Sea was the old newsreels. Remember, you'd go to the movies, and before TV, you would watch newsreels. And the newsreels would be Victory at Sea, and it would show these ships out in the ocean. You could Google it, just getting tossed and turned. So the surfers, I always thought that, I got a kick out of that. The older surfers used to call it Victory at Sea. So that's what you would call that. Not surfing today. This is, well, dang, I'm having all sorts of issues on these guys. This is Steamer Lane, and the tide's a little bit high. The sun's coming out a little bit. Santa Cruz Mountains did get an inch and a half, 2 inches of rain, but most of the rain really, like I say, shows up down around Southern California, down Santa Barbara, which is, they definitely needed the rain this year for sure. Okay, I'm having issues today, huh? This is Lindemar. Look at the sun coming out there. Pedro Point. Beautiful, little bit of raindrop there. If you've ever been out here, the boathouse is here, Keating's place. I think it's Keating's house, the family house. But famous surfer from the 50s. Yeah, and the family's the Keatings were very famous for, I think back during the World's Fair when it was on Treasure Island, swimming was a big thing. Remember Esther Williams? Swimming was, it was just all of a sudden swimming was there. And so the Keatings were big swimmers and performed in a lot of the swimming exhibitions back in the day on Angel Island, I believe. But there's a road, I don't want to crowd it out here, but if you go up to this street and park, there's a trail that goes up over the hill, and it's a staircase. It's kind of like the Dipsy staircase in Marin. And it drops down into the backside of Pedro Point, or the south side. And there's like, it's the coolest, it looks like it's the coolest little cove you'll ever see. There's people live out there, and they don't have access to a road. At least they didn't last time I was there. So you have to you're carrying your groceries down that hill. This right here, you can kind of see a road cut, like right here. This thing, that used to be a road cut, but I think it was in 82. The slide came in during that El Nino and took the road out. And they never rebuilt it. So check that out sometime if you got time. It's a cool it's just a cool California nugget. This is Halama, and I'll make it play too. I guess I did something wrong today where they're just not making things play. Thanks for being patient with me. I didn't sleep good last night. Because I'm getting off this night schedule thing, because I worked nights for like 38 years. Well, no, longer than that, 'cause I was a waiter. I waited tables for 6 years before that. So what's that? 40 some years of working nights and going to bed at 12:31. Well, son of a gun, if I don't go to bed at like 9 o'clock now, it's awesome. But I wake up, my body's going, what are you doing, dude? It's like this, I know it's going to take like a year to get my clock straight again. Not that you care, but I'm just trying to explain why. Why it's like the cameras are a little goofy today. I'm just I think it's more me than it is the computer. Okay, here's some cool stuff. This is Halama. This is, remember we talked about convectivity and the potential. Remember I said that those ice crystals, those ice chunks in the satellite image representing cold air. Well, check it out. That's almost an anvil. So it's hit the top of the troposphere. Right, or it's hit an area where the air can't rise anymore, so it's actually colder or warmer above. yet. So you've reached, this is as strong, as high as these storms can go, but that's a convective cell. That is an anvil top. And to get a thunderstorm out of this, especially once that's over the ocean. So once that bad boy hits land, once it kind of gets over or hits the coastal hills and rises, another mechanism, you're going to either get warmth from beneath as the sun heats the ground today, but this whole air mass, and just because you can't see clouds here doesn't mean it's not cold. This is just the areas of convection. Like this cell is going like this. The air's coming into it, cools, and then comes back down here. That's why there's no clouds in between. Awesome. I'm not convinced that's what that is, but it looks like a pretty good little flat top. So, okay, so that's that. And then we got the eagles to talk about, and that's fun to watch. They're getting today's going to be a little sketchy for the next hour or so out there. We can take a peek. So she's here, and you can see in, let's see if I can get out towards Indio, Oak Grove, Lake El Cajon. Let's see, I got the wrong thing up. Sorry, this is the radar. Talk amongst yourselves, San Bernardino. So kind of up in here, you got the scattered showers. This whole area is going to move into the Eagle area as we go into the next few hours, and that'll definitely cause some more wind and some more snow showers, and then a break for the Eagles probably this afternoon. Okay, that was a lot. I think I have more to talk about, but I think we've done enough here today. I hope the forecast makes sense to you. It does look like Friday. We're back into the rain. Today's that weird unsettled day, maybe a thunderstorm. Winter storm warnings stay in effect in the mountains. Little break overnight tonight, and then bam, we're back into it tomorrow. Different kind of weather system, more centered on Central California and northern climes, but Southern California gets rain too. Okay, see you back here tomorrow.